Peace, y'all. It's your boy Johnny Fastlane here. I'm with my guy Terry Dior. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, Johnny.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you for having me.
Of course, man. For y'all that don't know Terry, he is an entrepreneur. He works in finance. He's a hip hop lover like myself. And he's one half of the 371 podcast. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for being here, bro.
Thank you. I'm thankful for being here.
What I want to do is I want to kind of talk about like everything, you know. We want to break down who Terry is, you know.
Yes.
But before we get into that, why should they even care who Terry is, right? So let's talk about your podcast first, right? The 371 podcast that you're working on with Giovanni. I'm working on that with you too, Lord Jamar.
Yes.
Tell the people, what can they expect from that?
Wow, they can expect a lot of enlightenment.
Okay.
It's a breath of fresh air. It's coming from a generation that is forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
We're always called the forgotten generation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's from our perspective. And one thing I always do in front of every video is tell the subscribers to like, comment, share the video. So if you're watching, please like, comment, share,
Make sure
subscribe.
y'all do that.
And watch till the very end. You know, there's a lot of gems that we have in all of our videos that I don't want anyone to miss. So the number one thing I would want everyone to do is watch until the end. That's for every video that I put out. I put in a lot of effort into all these videos. So please watch till the end. Like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And it helps the algorithm. It helps the success of the channel.
Yes, a fact.
Yes.
If you watch till the end, the channel will be a whole lot more successful if you subscribe, share, click that notification bell, and all of that. Now, the podcast is fairly new. We've shot in, about maybe 5 episodes or something like that?
Yes, 5 episodes.
Who are some of the artists that you've been interviewing so far?
Well, we've had My Son, we had...
That's big.
Yeah, we had Grand Puba.
Another big one, okay.
Right, from Brand Nubian.
Yeah.
We also had Lord Jamal, which is the producer of the 371 podcast
Okay,
show.
so legends. You're bringing legends in here.
Yes, Saigon.
Wow.
We had P2, Supreme Jr.,
Okay.
which is Supreme Son. So that was a great interview as well. It kind of went viral, so now we're in a space where all the other videos are going viral.
Right.
Everyone that we've basically interviewed has been in the media.
Yeah. Who's producing the podcast?
Lord Jamar is producing the podcast.
Oh wow! So Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian, he was a guest and he's producing it too.
Yes, he is.
That's big, man.
Yeah, and
That's big.
we also have a lot of big things coming in the future. I want to promote great music, not just good music, but great music. Right now, the culture, there's a lot of artists that are dying. We just
that's a fact.
spoke about Takeoff. Rest in peace to Takeoff from the Migos. Our condolences goes out to the Migos family. That was a tragic incident.
I mean, that's a fact, yo. And just because we don't get along or might have had a little scuffle or something backstage doesn't mean like I want you to die. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
I'm sure everybody's feeling it. I'm sure, like,
Yeah.
that was a horrible tragedy, bro.
Yes. Horrible.
Tell me about your co-host of the podcast, Giovanni, right? How did
Yes.
you guys link up? And what made you both want to come together and say, all right, let's do this hip-hop podcast?
Yes, so I met Giovanni a few years ago in my building. I used to live in Flatbush, Brooklyn. You know, he's Haitian, I'm Haitian. We bonded over that. He's a R&B singer. He has a lot of connections in the music game. I myself, I used to work for EMI Publishing.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, before they got taken over by Universal Music Group. So that's where I got my first start in finance. So if you ever go to California, you see that building with the spike on top.
Yeah.
That's a Capitol Records building. So that's huge. That's huge. Being young and having that type of opportunity was great. You know, but sometimes in business, that was my first experience with a merger acquisition. So being a intern, you know, I was thankful for the experience and moving on from that part.
I mean, that's dope because you got a lot of experience at a young age too.
Yes,
You know?
yes, a lot of great exposure, a lot of great experience. I'm thankful to have Giovanni as my co-host on the podcast, you know, because he brings in a lot of great hip hop insight.
Yeah, yeah. The energy from Giovanni is unmatched. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
When I think of you, I think of hip hop, and I think of money, man. I think of like finance. You know, like
Yes.
you getting bread out here, and you love rap. You know.
Yes.
What made you want to do a hip hop podcast instead of like a financial literacy podcast?
Well,
Or is that coming?
I'm glad that you asked that because it is coming.
Okay.
I have my trading platform set up. I had some issues during COVID. There was a lot of sketchy things going on that a lot of good people like myself just got wrapped up into that. So it was just a huge net that was casted, and it just caught everyone, you know, good people and bad. So the way that, you know, we filter through these issues is that you have to be persistent, you know. So my Forex account with Forex was actually frozen for about, well, I could talk about it now because it's no longer an open case.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so what had happened was Forex, I had about like $300,000 in my trading account, and it was frozen overnight. I made some trades, they were very profitable, and next thing I know, my trading account was closed.
Yeah.
You know, so, and shout out to Ronald Hart, one of my attorneys, who actually got my money back from Forex, also known as Gain Capital. They had accused me of anti-money laundering. They had accused me of a RICO conspiracy.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it was very tough. So
Did they give you interest on top of that, or
No interest. I was just happy to get my money back.
you still have to come out of pocket though because you're paying the lawyer? Right?
Yeah, but that's an unfortunate thing. Shout out to Meek Mill. One thing that Meek Mill said in one of his raps is that you watch liquid money get spilled. And I didn't understand what that meant until I was going through it, you know, because when you don't have a steady income revenue stream coming in, the money that you have sitting in your bank account, you use it for all your finances, like for Uber, for food,
Laundry.
for laundry,
Shit like that.
everyday expenses. So it's like you have all this equity, but your everyday expenses are eating up all of your equity. And that liquid cash is being spilled. So that's what he meant by that. And it didn't dawn on me until it started happening to me. And that's when I was like, wow, you know, there's a lot of powerful information in rap, you know. And going deeper into rap, Jay-Z as well. Like, I listened to one of his songs and he said, do you know why they call it a project? Because it's a project, you know? So, in working in affordable housing, these projects are literally projects on a table.
Yeah.
You know, and they erect these buildings and then create this community where, you know, black people are in tight, close quarters, as we saw during COVID. You know, to have a New York City style apartment is not healthy. You know, having more space is healthy.
Yeah.
You know, so these projects, you know, these projects are really projects, you know. So listen deeper into rap. You know, I highly recommend people to listen to Jay-Z. A lot of things may go over your head and you might think like he's at the top of Mount Everest or something, but if you take one break day by day, you'll get to that mountaintop.
No, that's a fact, man. I'm listening to songs that Jay-Z dropped in like 99, 2000, and I hear them differently now that I'm grown versus when I was 14,
Yes.
15 or whatever it is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a testament to that man. You know, like
Yes.
he's really dropping knowledge on people if you listen.
If you listen.
Yes. Speaking of the pandemic, man, and how do you feel about just like the whole thing that happened?
Well, one of my biggest projects was to have a restaurant. So there was a lot of real estate in New York that a lot of New Yorkers just abandoned. You know, so it was very cheap to get real estate during the pandemic. But now, as things are, you know, back to normal, the prices are also back to normal as well. So it's just really difficult right now, you know, with the pricing of real estate. But during the pandemic, what I was doing was trying to get as many businesses as I can. You know, I took the time that I had to myself to create as many LLCs as I possibly could.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
smart. It's a smart move.
Yeah.
So a restaurant. What else are you opening up?
So I have a restaurant business, I have a water business, I have a apparel business, which is clothing. I have my own asset management firm, own consulting firm. I have event planning. I have a hotel that is going up.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm looking to house all these businesses in the hotel as well.
That would be fire.
So yeah, so it's a lot of great things, a lot of positive things going forward. I'm working on a foundation, a lavish foundation, as well as a great music record label with Lord Jamar. So we're trying to sign positive artists, artists that give off a positive message. You know, well, going back to Jay-Z again, when he said, you know, I try to rap like common sense.
Right.
He didn't rap like common sense. So we're just gonna try to change the narrative on that. You know, so country music is very influential. Black people, in my opinion, invented country music. So black people also invented drill music.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say that drill music is bad. You know, it's just the content in the drill music. You know, I believe that, you know, people of color are inherently good, and that things that we go through as people are traps that are set by the system.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. You know, it's the system's fault. You know, so what Lord Jamar and I are trying to do right now, we're trying to sign as many positive artists as we can and change the narrative on music and really make a change and a difference in the music industry.
And trust me, y'all, they are serious about this. I was behind the scenes, and they both was playing some music off their phone, arguing.
Yes.
Who is the positive? Who's more positive? Who is the best lyrically and all of that? So
Yes.
they are serious about this. Y'all about to hear something for real, man.
Yes. So if you're a positive artist, I want to hear from you. I want to sign you. I want to get you out there. I want to change the narrative on music. It doesn't have to be negative music anymore. We could do this.
Did you go to school for business?
Yes. I have an MBA from Hofstra. I have a
That's a good
bachelor's.
school.
Yeah. I have a bachelor's in economics from Long Island University, and I even have an associate's from Queensboro.
Hey, man.
Yeah, you know,
That's
so-
what's up.
So I'm very well educated. You know, people out there, you know, before COVID would always say, "Oh, you know, get your CPA or get your CFA," and then now we're just starting to see that these things are just the things of the past. These things are unnecessary. These things are extra hoops for people to go through. You know, and create added stress in your life. So that way you can't really attain your goals. You know, and sometimes life is just as simple as buying a Bitcoin and investing in it. You know, how many Bitcoin millionaires were made, you know, during the pandemic?
2019, 2020
You know,
was going crazy.
yeah. So I suggest everyone to, keep your eyes and ears open when it comes to investing, because you never know when, these 10-year cycles create new millionaires.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact, bro. Let's take it back, man. So you kind of mentioned a little bit about how you met Giovanni and you guys were living in Flatbush in the same building. Are you from Flatbush?
Well, I'm born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens, and I came back to Brooklyn to reconnect with lost family. And the pandemic, I had lost my job working at TD Bank, and it just took a toll on me, and then I just moved back to Queens. So I'm a New York City, lifelong
New York.
New Yorker. I love the Knicks. I was there when, John Starks dunked on Jordan.
That's a classic moment.
I remember
right
the headlines, Patrick Ewing saying, "Get me my ring." I'm a New Yorker.
Earlier you spoke about some of your businesses that you have, that you trademark. But one thing that you've got to say, man, that I've seen you with a lot, lavish clothing.
Yes.
Right? Tell me about that.
Yes, so the apparel, right now it's urban wear, but I also want to break into the suits and ties. I love my community. Like, they really support me. All my friends, everyone that I see in passing, they just love the clothing. And the clothing loves them back, because this will be the first clothing to offer a coin along with an NFT for every purchase.
Oh, really?
Yes. So when you buy the clothing, you're not just buying clothing, but you're also investing and taking a part of the company. So, for example, if 5-10 years down the line, you bought a shirt, you still have the coin, the token for the clothing, and in 5 to 10 years, the clothing will appreciate with value.
Wow.
So I remember that there's a scene in the movie Baby Boy where the stepfather is saying, there's these things that don't appreciate with value, but here I've actually made something tangible that actually appreciates with value.
So how does that work? How does it appreciate with value? Is it because also the value in the company is appreciating as well?
Yes. So it's added value when more and more people make purchases. So with each purchase, every article of clothing will have a coin attached to it. So if I sell 100,000 pieces of clothing, that means I've also sold 100,000 coins as well.
Right.
So the value of those coins can go up to $10, $20, $30, and if you take that million or 100,000 coins and you multiply that by 10, you get $1 million right there.
Right.
So it's gonna have a huge amount of value. And then when I do my seed round funding to go public, to take these companies public, it's gonna boost the company to the stratosphere.
So break that down. Like, what exactly is going public mean?
So going public is an initial public offering, an IPO. So what a lot of people don't understand is that there's a lot of requirements to do that. So just like as you would want to open up a restaurant, you would have to go through an extensive background check. So it takes that. That's one aspect of it. Then you also have to get investors with the seed round funding. There's seed round series A, B, C, and sometimes even round D funding. So with all these different rounds is a way to build up capital. And then you would probably get someone like Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan to review the company and make sure it's legit. And then they would then take the company public in the New York Stock Exchange
Okay.
and would give the company a ticker symbol. So a ticker symbol is just like how you would look up Apple or Google.
Right. So what exactly is a lavish lifestyle?
Yeah, so a lavish lifestyle is not just, frivolous spending. It's the slogan, meet me there. So it's taking the time out of the investing of or the shortfalls of human nature. So sometimes you pour in all your time and energy into something, and then the people don't pan out the way that you would have hoped it to be. So just like someone with a low credit score, if they're not prepared to buy a house or a car or something yet, then you're obviously not ready to date that person. So the slogan "Meet Me There" is essentially saying, hey, when you get your stuff together, when you're ready, just meet me there, and that's what lavish is all about, and living that lavish lifestyle. We all know what the lavish room is. So
I mean, that's a fact, bro, because a lot of people don't want to invest in somebody, time, money, and everything like that for them to, you get somebody up to, let's say, that 800 credit score, and then they go to a different person or a different company, or whatever the case may be,
Right.
So it makes sense. And if they're really serious about their future, then they're going to want to meet you there.
Right.
They're going to want to get their game up so that they could sit at the table with you.
Yes.
So
that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've been investing a long time. I started my first investments with Green Financial Group. That went bad. The CEO tried to kill himself in the parking lot. In his own car. Then I went to FXCM, and then they got caught up in something really bad, and they were barred from doing business in New York.
Wow.
And then I went to Forex, also known as Gain Capital. And then, as I said earlier, I got, my account frozen for almost a year. So what I'm using now is Robinhood and Webull, and a little bit of Bloomberg.
Okay.
So shout out to Bloomberg, the folks over at Bloomberg. But the way that I set up my finances, and maybe you should too, is whatever money I get, like let's say I have a sale from Turo or rental, that money goes straight into my Robinhood account, direct deposited. I don't do direct deposit to my bank account. So what I do is have all my direct deposits go into Robinhood. And as you know, the stocks go up and down. I invest, I see where my stop loss is, and when I'm ready to make a withdrawal, then I withdraw that cash to my bank account.
Then you pay yourself.
Then I pay myself.
Smart.
So it's almost like you're doubling and tripling and quadrupling and 10xing, maybe even 20xing a standard pay. So let's say you got paid $1,000 for something, and the next thing you know, it's already in your Robinhood account. Let's say Bitcoin goes up, by 10 times. You just made $10,000 off of $1,000 just because.
Quick.
Right, just because you direct deposited your funds into the right account.
That's a smart little trick, man. Because that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you have any advice for that first-time investor or somebody who might not be too adapt to what's going on for them to not lose money?
Right. The best thing that you can do is invest in something called a REIT. A REIT is a real estate investment trust.
Okay.
So with a REIT, you'll be able to invest in a fund of properties. So at a modest return of 8 to 10% on average, if you invest into a REIT, which has about 30 buildings in it, then you're more inclined to get a steady revenue income. So think of it almost like a mutual fund, but with real tangible assets. And one thing that my asset management company is about to start doing is doing REITs backed by Bitcoin.
Wow.
So imagine buying affordable housing or paying your bills with Bitcoin through affordable housing, and that same coin is allowing the business to go out and get more buildings, more affordable housing, create more funds and REITs, you know. And the way that I want to do that is with ADA, Cardano, with smart contracts. So that would be great. But you know, these are little intricate things that I'm working on, and I can't give away all my secret sauce.
You're giving away all the juice right now.
So,
I know they watching like, okay, what? All right.
Yeah, so whenever you see me on the YouTube channel, it's not just about travel. It's not just about, you know, the modeling and the pictures and, you know, the drinking and all that. There's a lot of substance and a lot of things that goes into it as well.
Right. And of course, when you work hard and you finance yourself and you can afford it, it's cool to go out and have fun sometimes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got to do that too.
Absolutely.
That's for your mental health. You got to do that. You can't work all the time.
Yes, and you know, the thing about it is that I've marketed myself and created myself in the sense that when I do go out, it's work. You know, if you see me popping 10 bottles in the club, you know, I'm throwing that on YouTube and getting monetization dollars off of that.
Right.
And then that monetization money is going straight into my Robinhood account.
Right.
And then multiplying there. And then coming out of my Robinhood account and going straight into my bank account and then creating something else. You know? So my next step is to have a global event. Lavish Day. You know, so what I can do is almost like how you have franchises. I would franchise out the events business where we send you out a kit for your party in every state, every country, and on a specific day, you're allowed to use the Lavish Lifestyle brand and logo for your own party.
And live it up. When's your birthday?
December 3rd.
Sounds like a good day to me. You know what I'm saying? December 3rd is Lavish Day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the thing about Lavish Day, I set Lavish Day as a day that the business was created.
okay.
So to me, that is Lavish Day. My birthday, I share the same birthday as Little Baby.
Okay.
Lil Baby.
Shout out to Lil Baby.
Shout out to Lil Baby. And hopefully one day, and I'm going to try to speak it to existence because, you know, I believe in the power of words, you know, the power of speaking things into existence. It's to party it up with Jay-Z one time.
Oh, hell
You
yeah.
know, the third going into the fourth, you know.
Wasn't you at the 40-40 the other day? You bumped into my son, right?
To my son, yes, yes. So, if Jay-Z, you know, if you're ever at your nightclub, you know, I'm in there, you know, so hopefully we could bump into each other and, you know, bring in the birthdays great, you know, and share some tacit information with one another that, you know, we would definitely like to bounce ideas off of one another and grow exponentially.
Yeah.
High yields. Love yields.
And you know Jay-Z loves that business talk too, man.
Yes.
Like y'all could really get on the same level and he might say, you know,
Yes.
you're intriguing me. He probably nowadays wants to talk more about business than hip hop.
Yes,
in some
yes,
aspect.
absolutely.
You know?
And you know what? I did a paper on Tidal, and I found out, and I even said it during the podcast, that Kanye West is the reason that Tidal failed. You know, because with Tidal, Jay-Z had put a lot of people in position as board of directors.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people like Draft Punk,
Pharrell was up there.
Pharrell, and Kanye West was one of them.
Yeah,
so
was.
he gave them all equity of the company. And Kanye West didn't like that very much. He said, these people don't have business acumen,
You're right.
you know? And then
He did it for like a year or something.
Right, and then he then dismantled the whole business.
Yep. I
And,
remember that.
And Jay-Z was on his way to becoming a billionaire at that time. And Kanye West completely sabotaged it.
He was upset because he felt like it was messing up his album sales because his album was only exclusively available on Tidal and
Right.
not other streaming platforms.
Right,
He wasn't
right.
with that. He said, no more exclusive Tidal releases.
Right.
Yeah.
And then now, Kanye West became a billionaire through Adidas.
Yeah.
But yet you left your friend
You let your
Jay-Z
man's back there.
hanging.
Yep.
What? You know what? I don't. That's a strange friendship. I do not.
It is, right?
When it comes to business like that, that's funny business. I'm like, bro, stay over there.
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna come over here and mess up what I got going on, and then you turn around and then you become a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Kanye West, sabotaged the entire Tidal company.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't stand for that. To have a billionaire friend in the making.
Right.
You sabotage this company, and then you, in turn, yourself become a billionaire by way of another company.
Right.
The thing that we have to understand about Kanye's mind is that he's not a creator; he's a sampler. So, for someone who's never built anything or cultivated anything from the ground up, whereas Jay-Z has, he doesn't sample, things and put things together. That's what Kanye West does. Jay-Z is more from the ground up foundation. And I'm the same way too, and when I lost my job at TD Bank, that was the first domino that fell, so I could very well see, Tidal's demise being the first domino falling for Jay-Z, and that was done by someone else.
Right.
That was done by his good friend Kanye West.
Somebody that you call a friend that you in business with.
Right. That you gave him equity in your business.
And nobody else did that to him. Taylor Swift was up there, none of those people did that, but the person that you was closest to did that.
Right.
That
was nasty work, as the streets would say. That was nasty
That's a
work.
fact. That's a fact, though.
And I mesh well between my corporate side and my street side. I've grown up in the streets of Southside Jamaica, Queens, and I've always said that I was street first before I turned corporate. So when I lost my corporate job, coming back to the streets was almost second nature for me. But going from that stratosphere all the way to the neighborhood was life changing. So it's very dangerous. And the main reason why I took down my LinkedIn is because I had a lot of my business information on there. So it was like, security is my biggest expense. Making sure that, and shout out to my security team, making sure that I'm safe.
Yeah.
Because all these people do is go online, look up on the SBA website, match the business name to the address, and then they already have your information and where you live and how much money you make and this, that, and the third.
Yeah, they're looking for you. And they can get you any kind of way. They can get you digitally, scamming, or they can just run up on you and be like, yo, give me your chain and your watch.
Roddy Rebel said it the best. The internet, we don't get into that. Like, they post up information online, that's the government's doing, posting up your information online. And that in itself is creating the crime system. The government is partial to blame for that.
It's easy for people to go on there and put, 1 and 2 together and
Right.
figure it out.
It won't make sense to the viewers right now, but over time, they'll see and piece it together and say, oh, okay, and get their aha moment. As far as, my success, I'm pouring everything into the podcast right now. Podcast is great.
371 Podcast.
371 Podcast, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, Lavish T. And this video, this interview, is to help put my LinkedIn back up, because I won't post up my personal business endeavors on my LinkedIn, but I will post up, my past employment, like working with Logitech. I was one of the initial people who got the UE, which stands for Ultimate Ears, the boom speaker. I don't know if you've ever seen them. They're like the cylindrical speakers that are portable Bluetooth speakers that can go anywhere. I broke that product out into the market, you know, and then when I realized my own influence, my own power, and I started saying, you know what, instead of making these companies millions, I'm gonna make myself millions.
Right.
You know, and that's where I am right now with the podcast, with Giovanni, with you, with Lord Jamar. You know, like I see this enterprise as the beginning to something great. You know, and you know, we're gonna do great things, and we're gonna continue to do great things. And the people who made the mistake of being a hurdle for me in my life will be sadly mistaken. You know, they'll say, you know what, we shouldn't have done that to that guy during the pandemic.
Success is the best revenge, bro.
Success is the best revenge. When you're smart like me and you know you have will and drive, it's just that, like how Nicki Minaj said, you know, I got corporate giants that's going against me. You know, so like my ops in the streets are not regular people; they're corporations.
Right.
You know, so those are my ops, and I just tend to settle things in court. That's it.
You heard them. Cut the check. You already know what it is. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, so you could always email me at terrydor01@yahoo.com. You can find me on YouTube at Lavish T or 371 Podcast.
And you already know what it is. It's your boy Johnny Fastlane. Let's talk hip hop. We out.
Peace.
Hey man, yo, that was good.
That was great, man. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I appreciate that, bro. Like, the people gotta know, like, where we at, where we came from.